Hey, what's up, guys? It's Russo, and I'm getting this video out to you a little early. I'm aiming to be able to be the night before as often as I can. I had the time to do it tonight, so I'm happy I did because I like the picks that I've got for this game. Thursday night football, we've got the Eagles versus the Giants on Amazon Prime. I know that doesn't sound that exciting. I'm sure the Eagles are going to probably win this game, but the Giants defense is pretty stout, and the spread isn't too bad on this one. So I'm hoping that it'll be pretty solid for fantasy purposes because I do think there's a lot of value on the board right now. Before we break into the plays for this game, though, I want to talk a little bit about the last slate, Monday Night Football, because, man, some of these reads felt like we're heading in the right direction, even though the slip didn't cash. Travis Etienne ended up falling short, just had 12. He had 8 in the first half. I thought for sure this thing was cash, and then it was just all Trevor Lawrence was running the ball himself. So we took him over 14.5 rush attempts. He ended up going for 12. I was so proud of this Patrick Mahomes interception call. I'm just saying, if you guys watch the video, I told you that Jacksonville defense is for real. And the pick six, when I heard that place erupting, because at first I was like, oh my gosh, everybody that Mahomes is getting the ball to is wide open. Like, they're scheming up against this defense well. And then I was just like, yeah, but Jacksonville, they're averaging like 2.2 a game, like we talked about. He ends up getting the pick six. That was just like, that felt good, because I was like, okay, good. The analysis actually was there. Tyquan Thornton crushed that fantasy score. Like I told you guys, we took him over 4. I told you he's a good receiver. He's going to keep emerging. He goes for 12 fantasy score, and I don't think he got in the end zone. I could be wrong, but I don't even think he got in the end zone. He went for like 80 something yards maybe. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong about that. But Brenton Strange was on his way. First half, we took him over 35.5 receiving yards. First half, he goes for 22. I'm thinking, yep, this is looking good. We're going to be good here. And then they come out, start the second half, and they're like, Brenton Strange, questionable to return. I was just like, oh no. So we got the reboot on that. But man, I think just getting some of these reads right really pumped me up to get into this game. So I was itching for it. I got into my research early. Let's talk about today's picks. Before we do, if you guys could do me a favor, like the video. If you guys have any questions about anything, hit me in the comments because it helps me out a lot. They're all about engagement. I took the summer off and I've been struggling to get my views back up on YouTube. So if you guys could do me a favor, like the video, hype it up, whatever you think will help. It really means a lot. Help me get in front of a larger audience would be awesome. So let's talk about today's picks. I'm happy that I jumped on this tonight because I think these lines are going to move. So we're going to take AJ Brown over 7.5 receiving targets. We're going to go Dallas Goedert fantasy score over 9. We're going to take Wan'Dale Robinson over 7.5 targets. And then Paulson Adebo, I think I'm saying that right. This is a defensive play. We're going to take him over 5.5 tackles and assists. I'm really excited about this play. And when I break it down, you'll see why. So we're going to get into all the details right now. Before we do, if you haven't signed up for Underdog yet, use code BACKDOOR. They upped their bonus funds. So it used to be play 5, get 50, like a lot of these platforms. Now Underdog's giving you 100 in bonus funds when you play your first 5, as long as you throw that code in. So code BACKDOOR really supports the channel. They've got a lot of killer stuff going on. It's, I believe it's still Boostober. I don't know how long that was running. I need to double check that. Sorry if I don't have that information right here for you guys, but Underdog's awesome. You guys know I love playing streaks. So if you're thinking about it, helps me out a lot if you just throw in the code BACKDOOR and you get 100 in bonus funds. And then Chalkboard, this is awesome. Just free $20. Throw the code in, BACKDOOR. They're going to give you $20 to play with. You don't even have to deposit. But if you decide to deposit later, that's when they're going to throw me a little bit of credit and help support what I'm doing over here. So really appreciate it. All the information's down below. If you use any of my codes too, hit me up at bdfantasysports@gmail.com. Show me the proof of purchase or the proof of deposit that you put the code in and whatnot. Just screenshot it or something. And I'll throw you a free month in the Discord too, as a thank you from me to you. All right, let's start breaking it down. Now, this is not going to take long with the weather, but we are playing at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. And it is going to be great playing weather for these guys. We're in the mid to actually mostly low 50s, but clear skies, nothing to do with wind. I mean, gusts up to 12, 13 miles an hour, but nothing. I mean, this is just like going to be a great night for football if you're playing outdoors. So we like to pay attention to that kind of stuff. Let's talk about the over under here. So 40.5 over under, not expecting a whole lot. I kind of just, I wanted to, I wasn't super comfortable taking Saquon Barkley. Obviously he's Saquon. He can absolutely pop off at any minute. He is one of the greatest to ever play that position. But he was nursing a little bit of an injury. And so I'm just kind of like, the Giants are kind of tough. Maybe tomorrow I'll look at what they're saying about Saquon and see if I want to take a chance on some of his plays, because he has done well historically against the Giants. He's, it's a revenge game for him, so he likes to go off, but he is nursing that little bit of an injury. So we'll see if they're going to let him just run all over the Giants or not. But yeah, we have a 7.5 point spread favoring the Eagles. So they're not expecting this to be an absolute blowout, but obviously they're expecting the Eagles to control this game and win this game. But playing in New York, it's going to be a fun one. We got a revenge game on Thursday night. So let's start breaking it down. So AJ Brown, this is why I'm excited we got on this early and we're getting this video out early, because he's done this in 4 straight weeks, target wise. Now we just talked about Saquon maybe not being at 100%. So I like the idea that they've already know what they have in their run game and in the tush push and all that stuff. But if they really want to go down the stretch, they need to start activating their wide receivers and make sure that they're getting them involved. And it's looked pretty promising so far. But yeah, 4 straight weeks of at least 8 targets. And then you've got the Giants, who are 29th in receiving targets allowed. So they are very difficult up front. So teams do tend to be able to have better success passing the ball against the Giants. On average, teams are able to put up 37 receiving targets against the Giants. So I think if they are even near the average, I could see 8 of those being to AJ Brown, who's a monster with yards after the catch too. So it's not even like every play has to be like a deep shot, but I think that Devontae Smith and AJ, and I like Goedert too. I think that this is going to be there's going to be some plays going through the air in this matchup here. Not a whole lot to talk about. If we take a look, like we said, 4 straight weeks against Tampa Bay, he couldn't get anything going receptions wise, 22% catch rate there. But yeah, still got 9 targets. They just kept trying to get him the ball. I think that he gets us at least 8 in this. If not, like maybe we see double digits. We got a little note from Outlier. Basically what we know. He's exceeded 7.5 receiving targets in 4 of his last 5 games. And then if we take a look at some of these past players, when they played against the Saints, Chris Olave had 11. Back when they played against Washington, you got Adebo Samuel with 10. Looks like not a whole lot was going on for the Chargers when they played. You had Ladd McConkey with 6. But in that same game that Adebo went off, you had Terry McLaurin go for 4. So I like to look at some of the past, matchups there, because that's a new feature that Outlier offers, which I love. You guys know, if you've watched the channel for a long time, Outlier is just, that's my heart right there. Like, this app is so awesome, and you can try it for free. All you have to do is sign up through the link below. But I'm a statistics guy. I love getting into the data. So I love this app. So definitely check it out. Let's take a look and see what Daily Grind is feeling for this. And I will not forget, we're going to go over some bonus plays too at the end here. So let's get to AJ here. If as long as my internet isn't too bad here. Actually, it seems like everything else is working fine. Maybe the optimizer's getting a lot of work right now. Okay, maybe you don't like. Bear with me. I just tried typing in Brown. There he is. All right, so they like his fantasy score over 13. They got that at a 50.28% odds to hit the over. Targets, the 50-50 shot, they don't know how to call it. It's because you're not getting it on a lot of platforms. Parlay Play has it here, but yeah, they're not offering it on a lot. I do love the targets option, because then you don't have to even have your guy catch, make the catches. And you can kind of look at the over under and the spread, and you can kind of say like, hey, I mean, they're potentially going to be throwing the ball a lot. So 50-50 shot according to the optimizer, but they do like that fantasy score over. So go with your gut there. It is at 13 on Prizepicks, and then everyone has it at 13 or higher. So it's just slightly favored to the over, 50.28% odds to hit the over. So let's talk about Dallas Goedert since we're talking fantasy score here. Oh wait, actually, let's look at one more thing. We've got some head-to-head here. So for AJ, keep in mind, last time he played, probably because I believe that was the game Saquon was just like going nuts against the Giants. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong about that, but last October they matched up. He only had 5 targets, but that was 28-3. I think the Giants are better this year, even though their record doesn't account for it. I think they're better this year than they were last year. So maybe this will be a little more competitive. But yeah, only 5. So keep that in mind. Last time they matched up, AJ did not have a lot, but we're talking 4 straight games here with 8 targets or more. So I'm feeling good about it. All right, back to Dallas Goedert. Okay, so this is just on his receptions. I was just kind of curious. I was like, so why is his fantasy score as low as it is? Which I think with his usage lately, 9 is not asking much. And the thing that I loved about this, so if we talk receptions, his receptions line is set at 3.5. He's got a pretty solid matchup here. We were just talking about teams passing on the Giants. 27th in receptions allowed. 24.8 receptions a game is what they're averaging on 2025 season. It's a little bit tighter against tight ends. 5.6 is what they're allowing, but they're still 17th in rank with receptions allowed to tight ends. Here's where the sweet spot is. If you look at touchdowns, he's got 4 touchdowns in the last 3 games. Tougher matchup. The Giants don't tend to allow many touchdowns to tight ends, so keep that in mind. They're 3rd, but that doesn't always mean that it's because they're that good. Sometimes it's like the people they've played don't utilize the tight end position as much when we're talking touchdowns. Yeah, the last people they played, they had Taysom Hill, which was Taysom's first game back. If he was going to get in there, it'd probably be like a rushing touchdown. But Juwan Johnson started hot. He's been a little bit, like cooling off a little bit lately. But then who else we got here? Foster Moreau, Gadsden, Conklin. Yeah, these are a lot of names that, other than Kelsey, there's not a lot of names that they've matched up against where it's like, oh yeah, that tight end is basically the wide receiver too. They haven't seen anyone like that yet. Then when we look at Dallas Goedert, overall targets, he's, not too bad, 16.7% target share. If we look at the red zone targets, it's much better, 25% of the red zone targets. The only person with an extra red zone target than him is Devonta Smith with 4. He's got 1 more, so 33% for Devonta, but Goedert has more than AJ Brown, more than Saquon. So yeah, he gets more love in the red zone, as we can see by the touchdowns, 4 in the last 3 weeks. So this fantasy score is just speaking to me. If you want to take the actual touchdown, you could take that too. There's expected value on that according to Outlier. But I'm going to go ahead and take the fantasy score. Let's look at the head-to-head. Okay, so in that last game, again, so this was an even different game. This was later on than that October game. So he must have been out for that October game, I'm guessing. I can't remember from last year, but still. Okay, so if you look at his fantasy score, he still got it done, even without getting in the end zone last time they matched up, which was January 5th. He's exceeded 9 fantasy score in 9 of his last 10 games. Is that right? Let's take a look. Let's go last 10. Yeah, he has. Okay, so that makes me like it even more. I'm mostly paying attention to the 2025 season. He's done it 100% of the time. So we're getting it at 9. I think it's going to be more expensive tomorrow. So glad we're jumping on this early. Let's take a look at Daily Grind, see what they think about Dallas Goedert. So they don't like the receptions at 4, which is kind of surprising. Not necessarily because of the data we just looked at, but because Pinnacle has it at 4.5. A lot of these platforms, FanDuel has it at 4.5. And there's heavy juice to the under. minus 200 to the under. But yeah, we're getting it at 4 on Prizepicks. I don't like these round numbers with receptions. Yeah, you get a chance to push, which is better than a loss, I guess. But still, if he gets 4 exactly, it's kind of not that exciting. So you can get it at 3.5 on like DraftKings and BetMGM. But let's take a look at some of his other options. So they're not feeling the fantasy score. They have it just slightly favored to the under at 9. It's because we've got like 3 different platforms that have it lower, like DraftKings, BetMGM, they have it at 8.7. We got an 8.8 on Caesars. FanDuel has it at 9, and then Pinnacle has it at 9.2. I'll take 9. He's done it every season so far, and then every season. He's done it every game this season. But like we talked about in the head-to-head, he didn't even get in the end zone. He went for 9.5. Let's take a look and see what he did receptions-wise in that game. We'll look at receiving yards since it's right there. He had 55 receiving yards in that game. And again, it's not like a great indicator of what we can expect, but he had 4 receptions. So yeah, it was the yardage. He was getting it done on the yardage. If we take a look here, average yards per reception in that game were 13.8, and he had a 17-yarder in that. So this makes me even more confident about it because like I said, we're coming off of 4 touchdowns in the last 3 games. So they like targeting him in the red zone, and it's been working for them. So yeah, 9, I'll take it all day. All right, Wan'Dale Robinson. Okay, so once again, I mean, we can start with this. He's cleared the target share the last 2 times he faced them. We're in a different situation, but receiving targets allowed, Philly has been vulnerable. 24th in the league in receiving targets allowed. 34 is what teams are putting up on them on average right now. So yeah, he had 9 and 11 last 2 times they matched up. That was with a different situation, obviously. But now we've seen like, okay, let's just go 2025 only to start. Okay. All right. Yeah, man, I keep forgetting we're starting week 6. It feels like we're still in the same week, but okay. So yeah, he came out of the gates kind of hot, 8 and 10. And then we saw a dip against Kansas City, and then he's been trending up. So we go 4, 5, 7. Now he's got a soft matchup. Not only is Malik Neighbors out, but for this game, we also have Darius Slayton, hamstring injury. He's out for this game. And then so much so that they called up Lil Jordan Humphrey. He's being elevated from the practice squad for this game. So they are, I mean, we saw, I mean, honestly, I don't know what's going on with Jalen Hyatt. I think that, he's got a lot of speed, but if he hasn't been getting anything done. I mean, he had an opportunity in that last game, and now you got Jackson Dart, who it's like a different situation. I think Dart has been targeting the tight ends more, but he still looked his way. Wan'Dale 7 times in this last game, but I mean, he's got no competition in the wide receiver room for targets here. So I'm going to be taking a chance here that Dart tries to get him the ball. We don't even need him to catch the ball. This is just 7.5 targets. So I'm feeling good about him potentially getting over this mark here. We got a little note from Outlier. This is what I like about Outlier. Wan'Dale Robinson has exceeded 7.5 receiving targets in 4 of his last 5 games versus bottom 10 defenses for targets allowed. He averages 9.2 in those matchups. Now we do have bottom 10, like we said, 24th is the rank. They're putting up 34 is what they're averaging. That's not going to all go to tight ends. We saw Bellinger in the last game see a little bit of love when Theo Johnson went out. But even if Theo was completely healthy, oh wait, I might be confusing that. Theo Johnson did not go out. I think I'm confusing that there. But I know Bellinger got a little bit of love, but Theo looked great. Theo is probably someone I should have looked at for this. We'll talk about it at the end though. But my point is, if teams are throwing the ball like 34 times, it's not like that can all be like that. Who's it going to be besides Wan'Dale and Theo? And we get some Cam Adebo in there. And then maybe if we see Tyrone Tracy return, maybe he gets a little bit of love. Bellinger a little bit. But there's 34 on average teams put up against them. So let's take a look. So you had Ibuka. He had 10. targets. You had Chris Godwin, 10. You had Nakua, 15. So yeah, all that's to be expected. The only thing that's kind of crazy is you had Igbuka with 10, which Igbuka's been playing great, but the volume is starting to catch up. You know, he came out hot, but a lot of his fantasy score was touchdowns. He was getting like 4 or 5 receptions a game, but he's expanding his game and he's looking great. And the stars aligned for him as a rookie. You get Baker Mayfield. You also get the wide receiver 1 in Mike Evans going down. You have Chris Godwin, who was already out to start the year. It's just like, this was the perfect landing spot for Igbuka. And he had 10 targets, and Chris Godwin had 10 targets, making his return. So, yeah. I mean, and then Puka, 15. That's not anything too crazy. But, I mean, in that matchup, they had Puka's line at 9.5, and he went for 15. They had Godwin at 4.5. He went for 10. They had Igbuka at 7.5, and he went for 10. So this is a good situation for Wan'Dale to get at least 8 targets, is what I'm thinking. Let's see here. Go back to the optimizer. Okay, so they're showing us a bunch of unders. Not feeling the targets either. Well, no, the targets are at 50-50 too. Yeah, the optimizer is just not really drawing from a lot. I mean, other than parlay play, it's just not drawing from a lot to make a decision here. But the rest of his stuff, the optimizer isn't feeling. So maybe things are a little inflated is what it's looking like. Like longest receptions inflated on Prizepicks. Receiving yards, kind of 44.5. Pinnacle has that 45.5, but then you do have some all the way down at 42.5. So yeah, go with your gut. To me, targets are the option here, because it doesn't even have to catch it. But they're going to be playing from behind, I'm guessing, unless we're surprised. And but 7.5 point spread, I'm assuming that the Eagles will be kind of controlling this game. And if the Giants are in fact playing from behind, then we've got a situation where they're going to be hopefully passing the ball to try to catch up before time runs out. All right, let's wrap it up here. So Paulson, Adebo. Okay, this one I really like. Okay, first of all, his last 5, he's gotten this done. At least 6 tackles and assists. We've got a situation here. So overall, 15th in tackles against, 7th in assists. So I don't really take defensive props that often. I'll be honest with you guys. Like, they're there, but here's what really sold me on this. The dude went off last time. So he had 10 tackles last time they matched up. And at 5.5, I just think this seems doable. So you guys let me know in the comments if you don't think that I'm right in this just catching my eye. I was just like looking at the board. This one was sticking out to me. And I found this one on Outlier. And I'll show you guys why it was popping off. I went on Outlier, which you can do. You can choose the game. So I narrowed it down to the Eagles Giants here. And then I went head to head, and I'm like, let's start by head to head since we actually have some sample size. And it was like, hey, by the way, this dude, 100%. And then if we look at his last 5, like, by the way, 80% in his last 5, 80% in his last 10, and then 100% when he's matched up, and then 80% of the time he's hit it in the 2025 season. So this was me trying to balance out the slip a little bit and have like 2 Eagles, 2 Giants, but there wasn't a whole lot on the Giants side that was sticking out to me like this particular play. So we're going to try a defensive play this week and see how it goes. Let's see this note from Outlier. Yeah, they're just letting us know that he's done this. So he's exceeded 5.5 tackles and assists in 4 of his last 5 games at home. So we said what? So if we look at last 5, 4 out of his last 5, 8 out of his last 10, dominated the head-to-head. And then on top of that, home games, 4 out of his last 5. So there's a lot of indicators here, enough for me to feel excited about it. Not just like, yeah, I'll throw this in slips. Like, actually, yeah, we got a lot of indicators pointing in the right direction. Let's see what the optimizer thinks about this play. 50-50 shot. They don't know how to call it. It's on Underdog, but it's just not a huge sample size here. So go with your gut. We can talk about some bonus plays if you guys don't want to take a defensive play, but I'm gonna have some fun with it this week. All right, so if you guys want the optimizer for yourself, use code BACKDOOR. You get 25% off for as long as you want. You can lock it in. I love this thing for NBA especially, but yeah, 25% off. Lock it in for the whole NFL season, the whole NBA season too. All up to you. Code BACKDOOR will get you 25% off, but this is a really fun app to have in your arsenal especially when you're making picks on the go, when you're like, I don't really have time to watch videos or to do what I normally do. Let's see what the optimizer is saying is heavily juiced, because it's comparing the play. It's taking plays and looking for discrepancies. See this little tab here, it says show line discrepancies. So it'll show you where there's big discrepancies. So it's catching a bunch of 3.5s that don't have a bunch of juice, and then it's telling you take the under here, 54.34% odds to hit the under. Then Daily Grind gives you their own odds, minus 140 to go under on the receptions. Doesn't mean I always agree with it, but I like the way it works. So Jalen Hurts rush attempts, they like that over 9, 53.51% odds to hit the over, minus 135. It's at 8.5 on FanDuel, and then Pinnacle has that 9.5. So you are getting it right in the middle there, if that's interesting to you. Jake Elliott, they like him to go for at least 2 field goals, 53.32% odds to hit the over, minus 132. Let's see. They're not feeling Jackson Dart's fantasy score. They're not feeling Devontae Smith's receptions. Hurts, they like him to go over 26.5 pass attempts, 52.69% odds to hit the over, minus 130. We talked about what teams are doing against the Giants. They are passing more often. So yeah, might be something you want to check out. Just keep in mind that if it's a passing play and you have any other Eagles that catch the ball, you're going to deal with some multiplier going down for the correlation. So I don't, especially on single game slates, if I'm taking quarterback plays, it's usually a rushing play, or like a rushing receiving touchdown, different things like that, because I just don't like how much it penalizes you, and you're, putting together a 4-man for not that much of a multiplier. All right. So I know this kicker, if I'm not mistaken, Graham Gano got hurt. He pulled his groin or something. I remember watching, I think it was in the last game, maybe the game before that. But he was still out there kicking with a busted groin. And I just felt so bad for the dude, because you watch him and he's kicking it, and then he's just wincing after his kick. It's dude, that's very selfless of you to go ahead and just continue to play while you're dealing with groin issues, because that is not fun. But yeah, so this is the dude filling in for Gano until he gets better. And so the optimizer is saying take the under on his kicking points, 6.5, 52.67% odds to hit the under, minus 133. Looks like everyone has it at 6.5, and everyone's favoring it under all these different platforms. So something to keep in mind. Jalen Hurts completions under 18.5. Barkley under his fantasy score of 17. Yeah, I'm going to wait till tomorrow to make any decisions about if I'm taking any Barkley plays, personally. They don't like his receptions. They're feeling the under on the 2.5 for Barkley. 51.81% odds to hit the under, minus 127. And yeah, it's just at 2.5 everywhere, and most of them are favoring it under. But they do like the over on his receiving yards. Excuse me. Which does make sense, because Barkley could do that in one catch. He could both of those could hit. The receptions could go under and the receiving yards could go over. That makes sense. There's Bellinger. Yeah, so something to keep in mind. 14.5 receiving yards over, 51.51% odds to hit the over, minus 125. Did Theo Johnson get he had a big game, right, last week, but why do I feel, am I just, maybe I'm thinking of the Brenton Strange situation, but I thought Theo maybe got banged up or something after putting up that big game. But yeah, Bellinger, that's low. He did see some play. I mean, I know I saw Bellinger catch the ball in the last game. So 14.5, the optimizer likes it over. Jahan Dotson, they like him over 7.5 on the longest reception, 51.4% odds to hit the over. We'll do a couple more, and then I'm gonna head to the grocery store. All right, Jackson Dart, they do like his pass attempts over 31. You guys know how I feel about quarterback passing plays on a slate like this, but it is favored over. So if that's your thing, 51.21% odds to hit the over minus 123. Jalen Hurts fantasy score over 19.5, 51.13% odds to hit the over. And Saquon, longest reception, over 9.5. They've got that favored over, 50.93% odds to hit the over. We're going to stop there. Well, I'll just let you guys know, they do like his rushing yards over, 85.5. It's not by much, 50.68% odds to hit the over, but we're getting down to like that 50% mark. So yeah, this will look totally different tomorrow because these lines are going to move and then the optimizer will update. So that's why it's nice to have it for yourself. So don't forget to use code BACKDOOR, get 25% off if you want to check out Daily Grind's DFS optimizer. They also have the AI slip generator, which is pretty dope. I'll show you guys it real quick. When it sees great plays, and this works for multiple platforms, but you can see they show their hit rate over time. They've been kind of peaking here, but still hitting, a little more volatile. But yeah, when this thing first launched, it was just stacking units. And but yeah, they've got Dabble, Underdog. If you take the ones on Prizepicks, and this is going, the AI slip generator works across multiple sports. So it just looks for building you, like this is a 6-pick flex. Yeah, this has got college football, NFL, and EuroLeague. And they just built a 6-man, and you just click bet on Prizepicks, it locks it in for you. But this thing updates regularly too. It's just a bunch of like, there's a 3-man, there's just, yeah, wherever there's something worth taking a shot, they've got you covered, and you can just lock it in real quick. So 25% off of any of their tools. I use the optimizer more than anything. But yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget to like the video. Drop me a comment if you guys, we'll have all day tomorrow. So if you guys have picks that you're interested in, hit me in the comments and I'll jump on Outlier or whatever. And if you're curious about something, yeah, and this is what it looks like when you aren't just set to NFL either. There is a lot of green to be had right now. Some NBA preseason, some esports, some MLB live. Yeah, so a lot of green on the optimizer right now. Just not necessarily for NFL at this point, but appreciate you guys so much. Have a great night. Enjoy this game. I'll catch you in the next one.